Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Jeff Fisher's Rams 3 up and 5 down. Todd Bowles Jets at 3 up, 6 down. They're about to kick it off here momentarily, but let's check in downstairs for the first time and welcome a home game this week for Peter Schrager. Hi, Peter.
Hey, Tom. Thank you. Look, Bryce Petty's going to start, but I'll tell you guys, this was truly a game-time decision. Both quarterbacks, Fitzpatrick and Petty, worked out before the game, and with the sprained MCL, it was decided that Bryce Petty would be the guy. But Ryan Fitzpatrick is dressed today. It's not going to be Christian Hackenberg as the backup. So there is a chance if Petty either struggles or gets injured, we do see Fitzpatrick. And guys, one thing to note, no Nick Mangold, no Ryan Clady, and you've got maybe the best defensive line in football lining up against them with the Rams.
Well, you're not kidding. In fact, both of these defensive lines, in all fairness, are as stout as they come around the National Football League. But as you pointed out in our meeting last night about Aaron Donald, many believe, whether it's him, Geno Atkins, some feel Ndamukong Suh is in that conversation, but Donald might be the best of them all.
I think you're right about who's in the conversation, though. That's a really good triumvirate right there. And Aaron Donald may be the best of them all, maybe the best defensive lineman overall, with J.J. Watt not playing this year.
The Jets have won the toss. They've chose to get the football in the second half. You look inside some of the numbers, and Charles, perhaps some of the things to keep an eye on.
Well, I think for both of them, can they handle red zone and can they handle third downs? That's going to be the key for this ball game. Who's going to win third down, both sides, and who's going to pay things off if they do get in the red zone? Both have had their trouble scoring points this year. They've got to capitalize when they have the opportunity.
All right, we're set to go. The New York Jets on the home front. The first of 3 straight home games for Todd Bowles' team. Nick Folk puts a foot on it. And through the back of the end zone, the Rams will get the football at the 25-yard line. Keenum is 28 years young, out of Abilene, Texas. His 9 touchdown passes already matching a career high. He's never been a starter in the NFL from the beginning of the year through the end of the year. And here he is making it beyond the midway point this year.
Fighting so hard to hold on to this job that he earned during the training camp period. So many people want to see the rookie, Jared Goff. He would happily keep him on the bench all year long and be the guy.
Keep an eye on Todd Gurley today. Heard very little from him so far this season, and that's basically the way it starts out. Gurley is averaging barely over 3 yards per carry. And the Rams have been throwing the football a ton and infrequently getting it into the hands of Tavon Austin.
Kenny Britt has had a great connection with Case Keenum this year. Tavon Austin's got to get going. When he has over 100 yards a game, over 100 yards from scrimmage in a game, they're 5-0 in his career. They've got to get the ball to him more.
Last 2 games, the Rams threw it 53 times in London against the Giants, 47 more times against Carolina last week. And yet Gurley has only carried the ball 27 times total in the last 3 games. He's gone nowhere on back-to-back carries. Still been a pretty good defensive team for the Jets, at least at times this year. Darren Lee, the #1 pick out of Ohio State, back for the first time in a month since injuring his ankle against Arizona. And on third down, good protection. Keenum throws, and that's a dandy indeed. Caught by the veteran Kenny Britt, and that will move the chain. You said third down?
Right there.
First conversion.
And they needed it big time. Watch to the top of your screen will be number 18, Kenny Britt. And look who he's working on. Gives a double move. Looks like he's going to a stutter and go, and then breaks it off to the sideline, working on Darrelle Revis, number 24. That's something to keep an eye on all game long, because Darrelle Revis is not as feared as he once was on the corner. I expect the Rams to throw size at him in Kenny Britt and speed and agility at him in Tavon Austin today.
Red grew up just down the road in Bayonne, New Jersey, not very far from this stadium. That's Tavon Austin. They get it in his hands on the ground. It's only his 15th carry of this entire season. Last year, this guy rushed for 434 yards. He had 5 rushing touchdowns. He averaged over 8 yards per carry. But inexplicably, 15 rushes.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you have a weapon like that. They've got to force things with him. Last week against Carolina, Tom, he caught one pass and had one carry. That's unacceptable for their offense. Give him the ball somehow.
Blitz coming, and Keenum has to just get rid of it. Incomplete. You know, for an offense, it's not been good for a long time, and that is a story for this Rams franchise. Doesn't matter if you're playing in St. Louis or now Los Angeles. One thing they have done well, Charles, is there any explanation for the fact that 27 of their 40 first quarter points have come on their first possession of the game?
That means that they've scripted very well, and they come out with some openers that work. Not sure why. Either they don't stay with it or they don't work from there on.
Third down, and a second straight third down conversion, a second straight reception on a third down for Britt. Gain of 6.
Remember, I talked about throwing size at Darrelle Revis a couple weeks ago. He had to deal with Terrell Pryor, who's a monster out wide. Kenny Britt comes in at 6'3", nearly 225 pounds, and he uses that frame against Revis to essentially box him off from the ball like a basketball player and make the catch on the slant for a first down.
Revis, 31 years young now. He grew up in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. He's been one of the all-time great cornerbacks, all day to throw. And a one-handed reception by Britt, left all alone. He'll tiptoe out of bounds along the sideline at the 25-yard line. Another Rams first down.
The Rams offensive line has gotten a lot of grief because Todd Gurley hasn't been able to get going. Well, in pass protection on this play, look at this. Look at the distance between the rushers and Case Keenum, able to step into the throw. He almost airmailed it. Good job by Kenny Britt, getting a long arm out there to knock it back into his chest for another first down.
It's a 25-yard gain. Beautiful reception by Britt. And now first down at the Jets' 25-yard line on this opening possession of the game. They pitch it to Benny Cunningham, and he's sniffing the end zone, and the big fella is run out of bounds just inside the 1-yard line, the 1-foot line. 24-yard run by Cunningham.
So the toss will take everything to this side. Watch how they seal it. Higbee 89 does a good job right there on Rontez Miles, number 45. And look at the block downfield. Excellent job blocking on the linebacker, David Harris, their #1 tackler. Really good job by Kendricks, Lance Kendricks, number 88. So the double tight ends to that side did their job. Higbee sealing off Rontez Miles, Kendricks paving the way against David Harris. And look at the sprint by Benny Cunningham.
Ninth play of this opening drive, chewing up nearly 4 minutes. It's first and goal inside the 1. Rams have not been good in the red zone this year. And denied a touchdown is Cunningham on first down. The Jets are saying the football is loose. No official signal given yet by the officials. The Jets are still saying it belongs to them. And now they're saying Rams football.
As we look through the pile to see what happens, Benny Cunningham going down, the ball just kind of comes out of his midst, out of his grasp there. And it's wide open for anyone to get to. I'm not sure anyone really popped it out. It just kind of came out. And Todd Gurley didn't carry it on that play. He's now in the lineup here on second down. That was Benny Cunningham.
Second down and goal. The official, unofficial fullback is Cody Harkey. He's listed as a tight end. But well, now will split wide to the right, and they'll go out of shotgun from the 2. Unable to get there is Kendricks.
This is much sound and fury signifying almost nothing because Harkey's going to try and pick here and get Kendricks out wide. Watch Harkey, 46, working on Harris. He really does pick him off, but really well played by Rontez Miles. Doesn't take the bait inside, sees Kendricks get out to the outside, and an excellent tackle to stop him there. A lot of shifting, a lot of motioning for not much gain.
Well, we talked about how bad the Rams have been inside the red zone. Both of these teams, in fact. But the Rams especially so. And now it's third and goal, and it's incomplete. Under pressure, by the time he caught the snap, was Keenum. Wow. First and goal from inside the 1-yard line, and you're kicking a field goal.
Partner, they're running the bunch over here with the 3, and they're going to try and do some screening again as they did on the other side. But here's the thing. I'm not even worried about that. That's not what concerns me or what I'm really focused on. This is supposed to be a physical, power-running football team, and second and third down, they go right to the air. That's not their identity at all. It's very different from what you would expect from the Rams.
Included in all of that, not one time on first down, second down, or third down did Todd Gurley touch the ball. Not once. Field goal is good. A chip shot for Greg Zuerlein, but a good opening drive.
You got 3.
Rams come away with 3.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Well, play 73 yards, eating up better than 5 minutes, but you feel like you let one get away if you're the Rams. Gurley not in on first down from inside the 1. Was on the field, did not touch the football on second and third down passes, but it is a 3-0 lead. C.J. Spiller, just picked up by the Jets a couple of weeks ago, brings it out to the 20. And after making his NFL debut last week, here comes 24-year-old Midlothian, Texas quarterback Bryce Petty. A 2-year starter at Baylor, led the school to back-to-back Big 12 championships, and you hear the crowd as they wanted to see him sometime before last week. They were on the road in Miami when he made his NFL debut. He was in for all of 4 plays, 2 for 2 passing after Fitzpatrick was injured. Ryan came back, finished the game, and nearly led the Jets to a win. Matt Forte has been very busy the last 3 games, and that's a good, strong carry by the former Bear. A gain of 4 on first down.
You take a look at the Jets offense, and today Ben Ajelana starting at left tackle. Peter Schrager in the pregame talked about the injury to Ryan Clady. Not there. And remember when DeBrickashaw Ferguson used to hold down that spot. And at center, Nick Mangold not going again for the 3rd straight game. Wesley Johnson fills his spot once again, and he'll have to be sharp today with line calls with a young quarterback at center, under center.
Petty threw for over 8,100 yards in 36 college games. He had 62 touchdowns. Now, Charles, you saw a lot of his games at Baylor when you were doing college football in the Big 12 package on Fox. As you get a look at this Rams defense, very stout up front, starting with Donald, and Tremaine Johnson has been battling an injured ankle all year long. We'll keep an eye on him. What were your impressions of Petty?
Well, what I thought with him was a big, strong-arm kid, way more athletic than what people thought. You'd see some zone read and some quarterback run plays, and he would handle the ball that way. But he did not mind throwing the ball deep. Loved the sideline passes, those deep fades, and threw them well. They took their shots downfield. That's why I expect them to do the same today.
12 men in the huddle by the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
Been a lot of that going on under second-year head coach Todd Bowles. Obviously, you can't blame it all on him, although he said it last week, it's all on me. I mean, last week was sort of a culmination of this entire season. You had Fitzpatrick and Marshall arguing on the sideline. You had to sit down 2 players in Wilkerson and Richardson. They were benched for the entire first quarter. You know, all the stories apparently pointing to being late for team meetings with that duo, and that's been, you know, a story for both of them from time to time. They had 4 personal foul calls. So it has not been as pleasant for Bowles after winning 10 games as a rookie coach a year ago. Good throw there. Now this is going to depend on the spot. He appears to be short of a first down by a yard. Is a rookie Robbie Anderson, or is it a first down?
Got it right to the marker. Watch Anderson, number 11, run his route. He's going to run it and make sure he gives himself enough room on the comeback to the quarterback. See him work his way back to catch the football? So he got every bit right there as he caught the football. That's the yardage they gave him before Troy Hill took him down. And I think we may get a challenge on the spot here early from the Rams.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
Well, the punt team is already on the field, so clearly the challenge is not going to go the Jets' way.
At the 28-yard line, it will be 4th down. Although the receiver caught the ball in the air near the 29-yard line, he was not touched until he was close to the 28-yard line. And by rule, that's the spot that forward progress is ruled. It's 4th down. There is no timeout charge to Los Angeles.
So a good challenge by Jeff Fisher.
Excellent challenge by his spotter in the booth to see it. Look down here at the bottom of your screen. Robbie Anderson catches the ball, and then see, he catches it really close to the line, but you notice he's still working. And what Ed Hochuli just told us is moved himself back away from the line before he was touched. That meant no first down.
So punting it away, Lachlan Edwards, and that will back up Austin to the 20-yard line. Out across the 25, and look out, he'll step out of bounds, crossing the 35 up to the 37-yard line. Second possession coming up for the Rams. They lead 3-0.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Cadillac. By Burger King. Now get 3 large pancakes for only 89 cents, only at Burger King. And by PlayStation.
Well, one drive and a good start for an offense. It's had a very hard time scoring. In fact, averaging the least number of points per game among all teams in the NFL overall. Second to last in total offense. And on first down, Gurley takes a direct snap, and that didn't fool the Jets, who figured to be loading up 7, 8, 9 men very close to the line of scrimmage and force the Rams, like many teams have done against the Rams, to beat them through the air.
Well, it's very simple. If you're playing the Rams, you want to get the ball out of number 30's hands and put it in number 17, Case Keenum's hands, and dare him to beat you. And until he does that, people are going to continue to do what we're seeing and what you just described. But the Rams trying to counter that, trying to give Todd Gurley what they call unscouted runs, unstructured runs. Wildcat is one of them. Let's see if they use him in different spots to try and get him the ball.
They play fake it to Gurley, and it was just not there. Read beautifully defensively by Darryl Roberts in coverage of Austin. Let's check in for the first time today with our friend Carissa Thompson back in L.A. Hi, Carissa.
Hi, Tom. Green Bay at Tennessee. First drive of the game. Marcus Mariota hands it off to the second leading rusher in the league. That is DeMarco Murray. Now, the Packers give up 75 yards rushing a game. That run was 75 yards. Let's see how they rebound. Titans up early, 7-0. Tom?
All right, Carissa, thank you very much. That's an interesting game down there today. Green Bay reeling a bit right now, and Tennessee starting to gain a little momentum. Young team getting great quarterback play right now. Third down, and it's very close to another first down. And a guess who they went to again. Britt being matched up with Darrelle Revis, and it looks like another first down. It is.
And look at Britt running the route. Revis is right there. The coverage is good, but why did Britt win on that route? Big body. Okay, it's another big body play by Kenny Britt where he plays it just like it's a basketball game, boxes Revis off, keeps him away from the football, and gives Case Keenum an alley to throw.
It's been a rough year for Revis, and it started the very opening weekend in this stadium against the Bengals. It's a huge day as Gurley goes nowhere yet again. You know, Revis got locked up with a great A.J. Green that opening weekend, and it was not a good day for Revis. Jets could have won that game, arguably should have won that game, but they did not.
Nick Folk missed a point after touchdown. The game was decided by 1 point. It was a very rough day for Revis. He had a few of those early. We saw it recently with Terrell Pryor in the first half of the game before Revis rebounded in the second half and held him to only a 2-point conversion catch there. So I think teams are going to continue to challenge it, but I think you've got to do it a variety of ways. Big bodies as well as speed.
Second down and 10. And that's Brian Quick, who's healthy again. Quick has been a big play target for the Rams at times this year. It's his 25th catch, but he averages better than 17 yards per reception. So here we go on another third down.
And one guy to keep an eye on all game long will be Lance Kendricks, number 88 for the Rams, especially in these third down situations. Last week against Miami, the Jets gave up 11 completions to the tight end position.
Reception made by Quick, and now 4 out of 5 on 3rd down of these Rams against the Jets. That's to the 40 and another LA first down, a gain of 10.
Well, I do like what they're doing with the bunch formations because they're trying to create some confusion, not just in coverage, but as well as getting people just out there, where you got to bring people over there. You're wondering, okay, do I have this guy? Do I have that guy? If you're a defender, what level am I covering him so I don't bump into my fellow defender to pick myself off? Trying to create some confusion to create some gaps in space.
They give it to Gurley, and that's by far his best run of the day. His first 4 carries totaled 4 yards. And this is very close to a 10-yard gain. They'll spot it a yard short of that, so a gain of 9 on first down for Gurley.
Follow the fullback. Sometimes you follow the football, you find the football. Look at Harkey right there, 46. Little cutback area there, but the offensive line really moved the defensive front of the Jets there to give Gurley his best run of this young afternoon.
It's really hard to figure, exactly what is Todd Gurley right now. There you are on a 2nd down and 1, and you're denied the first down. We were there in Arizona for his first NFL start. Young man grew up in North Carolina, came all the way back from the ACL tear. His first 4 games, he rushed for nearly 600 yards. But over the last 16 games, he's averaged just fractionally better than 61 yards per game, and only has 1 100-yard rushing game in his last 16, and that dates back to last season. Ninth play of the drive, 3rd down. They pitch it to Gurley, and this is a loss of 5. And that is Sheldon Richardson, who along with Wilkerson both were benched for the opening quarter last week in Miami.
They tried to use Sheldon Richardson's athletic ability and speed against him, meaning they faked one way hoping he would bite and go down the line, but he played that play with extreme patience and excellent eyes. You always hear about where are my eyes, where are my keys. Sheldon Richardson followed his eyes and his keys perfectly and was right there to snuff out the play.
We always keep an eye on Johnny Hekker, the punter for the Rams. And now here he comes up under center. He's 6 of 10 as a passer in his career. This one might be just to try and get him to jump off sides. Now he's going to back up, and they'll go ahead and take the penalty flag, a delay of game, which is no big deal if you're trying to pin him inside the 10 anyway.
Great call, partner. You had that one diagnosed perfectly. You see where the ball's spotted? You're kind of in that no man's land. Remember last week, they used Greg Zuerlein on 2 55-yard attempts.
Delay of game offense, 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
And he didn't make either one of them. Not that he's not capable, but they didn't want to kick the field goal this early with another long distance attempt. So they're trying to get him to jump and get a cheap play. And if not, lose the 5 yards and help out your punter with his margin of error punting it downfield.
Special teams have been rock solid for the Rams so far this year. They did have the 2 misses, but both misses, like you said, Charles, 55 yards away. And now trying to pin the Jets deep, and well, you can't do it any better than that. Inside the 1, Bradley Marquez down there waiting on that Hekker punt. 3-0 in the opening quarter. Rams and the Jets from the Meadowlands. Small screen, stadium-sized content. Watch live local Sunday games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile.
And if anyone's watching it right now, watch and see if Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator of the Rams, just tries to get his front going after them and try and create a safety here with them so backed up.
Forte looking for any room at all, and not much there. He picks up a yard.
We used to talk about this all the time. When you have teams backed up, our coach used to say, create a safety. In other words, use your swim moves, try and get upfield. Maybe you don't hold your position as much. The Rams did so, though. See Aaron Donald holding up the offensive line, made sure that there are no gaps, no creases. Forte trying to get through. Really nice play coming down the line. That was, what, 97 Eugene Sims.
What's the old Bobby Bowden line from Florida State? Hitch him up, boys. Somebody's about to score.
The band's going to play, just not sure which one, right?
Out of the shotgun. And they're looking for the long ball down the field to Anderson. And they're tied up with a football, and it's going to belong to Anderson. What a reception by the rookie out of Temple, a college free agent getting more and more playing time. This is one heck of a catch.
I talked with Matt Rule, his coach, Tom, at Temple, say he's the most competitive player he's ever coached, talking about Anderson. All right, being able to go downfield, and you notice Gaines never sees the ball, but he tries to play it once it gets there. Does he have control before he steps out of bounds? And the determination is that is yes, he does. But that's what Bryce Petty likes to do with his arm. Throw the long ball, especially those deep fades.
That is a 52-yard reception. Spiller has checked into the game in the backfield. That is his first carry as a New York Jet. He returned a couple of kickoffs last week, was in on offense a couple of plays. So Anderson really digs him out of a hole. You mentioned the word competitive. That is a highly competitive win for Anderson.
We hear that all the time when we have conferences with coaches. We have to win one-on-ones on the perimeter. And Robbie Anderson did exactly that, being able to get downfield and win against a defensive back.
We're only 8 weeks in. I've heard that 9/11 already. End of the first quarter. You're watching the NFL on Fox. 108 yards of offense for the Rams, 73 on their opening drive to kick a field goal, the only points in the opening quarter. And you see they've held on to it for almost 11 minutes. But after that 52-yard reception by Robbie Anderson a moment ago, this Jets drive, which began inside their own 1. Now a 2nd down and 6. And the handoff is to Powell. He's about 3 yards short of a first down. We talked about you watching Bryce Petty during his days at Baylor.
Remember, I talked at the top of the game that he's more athletic than you might think. You saw him there running the football. Look at him on a quarterback power run and getting into the end zone against Oklahoma. And you just saw that nice throw he had to Robbie Anderson. Watch this. Does that look somewhat familiar? Loves to throw the ball to the margins of the field. Fade balls deep on the sideline. He feels very comfortable with that pass.
And the other part you like is the fact that in a very tough conference, this young man won back-to-back Big 12 championships. That's a nicely designed play on a 3rd down and 3. First catch for Brandon Marshall. Petty has not incompleted a pass so far in his NFL career. He is 5 out of 5, and that's 154 straight games with a catch for Brandon Marshall. You got to go back to 2006 in Oakland, his rookie year, the last time he failed to have a catch in a game. Fitzpatrick had the outstanding season a year ago when the Jets won 10 but failed to reach the playoffs. Forte bounces off the left side, still on his feet, flag down. Forte inside the 10, down to the 5. We wait on the penalty. On the far side of the field.
Offside, defense, number 94, lining up in the neutral zone. The penalty is declined. First down.
So that run will stand. It's 1st and goal for the Jets.
And look at this side of the line and watch what they get done on this. Really well done. Look at Carpenter, 77, controlling things. Ijalana, 71, sealing off Quinn, number 94. And then look downfield. Really nice job by Quincy Enunwa, number 81, blocking downfield. You don't get good long runs in the NFL or at any level of football unless your receivers are willing to block. And Enunwa, number 81, did a really nice job of it.
Well, we mentioned the Rams have not been good inside the red zone. Neither have the Jets. They were 1 of 5 against Miami last week. They hand it to Forte. That picks up a yard, maybe a little more than that. LaMarcus Joyner leading the stop. 34 times the Jets have been inside the red zone. That's inside the 20. And of the 34, Charles Davis, only 13 touchdowns. They've turned it over a whopping 6 of the 34.
There's been a lot of criticism that the Jets don't run the football close to the end zone. Here's a great opportunity to continue to press the run if they want to. And keep an eye on Bryce Petty. He can always slip out the back door on you.
8th play of the drive. Try to sneak that one through and into the hands of Forte. It's incomplete. Under heavy pressure that time. So now 3rd down and goal from the 4.
And that usually means Bilal Powell, number 29, comes into the game, their 3rd down back, catching the football, trying to create a mismatch with him out of the backfield. But Brandon Marshall, number 15, is always the guy you have to keep an eye on. And Tremaine Johnson, number 22, will travel with him. Anytime you're in the red zone area, he will match up with Brandon Marshall because of his size.
Put it in the hands of Marshall, and they flip it to Powell. How about that one? Touchdown, Jets.
I know you're having Boise State flashbacks right now, Tom, because watch Marshall here, and then watch coming out of the backfield, the old hook and lateral. All right, you get out of there, Enunwa, number 81, with a nice block on the corner. Marshall with the flip to Powell. That play worked because Enunwa, with a terrific block on the corner after Marshall made the catch, allowed him to catch it and lateral it to Powell.
How about that drive, which started from their own 1-yard line? 99 yards for the Jets. And now the point after by Folk. And it is no good. But they're celebrating here in the Meadowlands. 9 plays, 99 yards.
Today's game is sponsored by the all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty. This is the next level. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
What a drive, what a drive, what a drive. And it is a touchdown pass officially to Powell, even though it was a completed pass to start with to Brandon Marshall. So the first career touchdown pass for Bryce Petty. And he had to do it the hard way. I mean, that's earning it. When you go 99 yards. Whoa, doctor, big time collision there at the 15-yard line. Mercy. Antonio Allen on the hit. Just the way you draw it up. A stingy LA Rams defense taking it on the chin that last drive. 99 yards, a touchdown, but filed it away. That missed extra point by Nick Folk. So now Rams football. First down from their own 15, and Keenum out of the shotgun looking for a long one of his own. Right on the money. What a throw to Kenny Britt. And again, he beats Darrelle Revis all the way to the 40-yard line. A penalty flag is on the field.
But look what he does. He's got him right where he needs to, and Revis just can't locate the football late in the route. He gets a step on him. That's a beautifully thrown football by Case Keenum. Absolutely perfect.
Delay of game by the offense after the play. 5-yard penalty. Still results in a first down.
So that probably was Kenny Britt at the post of at the end of the play, spiking the football in exultation. He's off to an excellent start. Don't forget, Kenny Britt's a Rutgers guy. You mentioned it earlier about Bayonne, New Jersey.
Yep.
Went to Rutgers. Happy to be back in this part of the country, playing in this stadium in front of his people.
Former #1 draft pick by Tennessee when Jeff Fisher was there. Got off to a great start in his career, and then was really hurt for about 3 full seasons. Wound up coming to the Rams and led them in receiving yards a season ago. Turned around and handed to Gurley, who's only had 1 significant run today, and that was all of 9 yards.
And we've seen what's going on with the Rams today with Kenny Britt. But look at what he's doing with Darrelle Revis. Remember when it was Revis Island? He's the most feared corner in the league, and you left him alone. Today, they've just attacked him from the word go. Stutter step to start off. Big body catch there. Another big body catch here. And then the last one. Just takes him on the fade, up the sideline. Uses his hand to keep him away and make the catch. Darrelle Revis could have a long afternoon because they won't shy away from attacking his position.
And, you know, a couple of those passes, as you pointed out earlier, Charles, he's in excellent coverage.
Exactly.
That last one was just a beautifully thrown ball. I want to get back to this Gurley thing, though, with you, Charles. And look, we know the Rams took Jared Goff with the #1 pick. They gave up a ton to get that #1 pick. 6 picks in that trade with Tennessee. Is it a case that teams are just saying, we don't believe the Rams have a quarterback, or is Gurley not the player we thought he was?
I think it's much more the former than the latter.
Okay.
Now remember, Todd Gurley lost 15 pounds, wanted more quickness in the offseason. Some people think he needs to put more of that on and break a few more tackles, but he does get hit a lot in the backfield. You know, any back is normal if there's no holes to run through.
They're down at 8, and Keenum almost stayed on his feet. He is sacked back at the 47-yard line. Darren Lee and David Harris, rookie and veteran, combined on the sack.
And just watch the attack coming at him, because they showed a lot of people. And throughout this season, the Jets have not come at people the way that they normally do. With Todd Bowles last year, they blitzed on 43% of the downs. This year's 32%. I think today, any 3rd and 5 or more, they're going to try and get after Case Keenum.
Backer on the punt, Jalen Marshall, another rookie out of Ohio State, waits and a fair catch at the 14-yard line. We're just outside the Big Apple. 6-3, Jets in front. Spectacular weather Sunday from the Meadowlands in New Jersey, and the hometown Jets, after a 99-yard drive, their last possession, get it back leading by 3. Matt Forte slips off the left side for 3. I'd like to tell you, tomorrow night, National Geographic invites you to go to Mars. Join humankind's greatest adventure and found out how we made Mars home. The new series Mars premieres tomorrow night only on National Geographic.
That looks spectacular. Remember when Ralph Cramden just wanted to send people to the moon? We're well beyond that now, aren't we?
Well, you're at that age where you remember that. Only the second touchdown drive of 99 yards this season in the league, and that one should have been, or could have been, a pick 6 the other way for Tremaine Johnson. A rookie mistake there by Petty.
Watch Johnson. Look where his eyes are. See how he's looking back into the quarterback? He's cluing. That's what we call cluing as a secondary player. I know where the receiver is. I feel him and see him with one eye. With my other eye is right back at the quarterback. Right as Petty hit his drop and started to move, Tremaine Johnson drove on the football and very nearly, as you described, came up with a pick 6. Really well played.
Third down and 7. Only a 3-man rush, and they convert. Finding Enunwa, who's really having a nice year. He missed his entire rookie season on the practice squad. 22 catches last year, but after the injury to Decker this season, he's played quite well.
Really has picked up the pace. Remember when they thought he was strictly a blocker, and they used him that way? He's really jumped up in the offseason in his weight, in his conditioning, weight room work, and route running, and has become a very reliable receiver, as we just saw there.
Pretty solid numbers right there in this Furness NFL start for Bryce Petty. And right back into hand. What a move that is by Anderson. And close to another first down, maybe a half a yard short. Let's check in back in L.A. with Kurt Menefee.
Tennessee Titans tight ends are dominating Green Bay through one quarter. 6 catches, over 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns to tight ends alone. That went to Anthony Fasano, put him up 21-0, and they're just starting the second quarter. Tom, Charles, and Peter.
Charles, that's a guy you saw a lot of, Marcus Mariota, in college, and you think he's going to be a good one. You've been saying it since day one.
I still say he's going to be a star in this league. They continue to utilize him and exploit his gifts.
Forte on a second down and a yard. He's dropped for a 1-yard loss. You know, you look at the last 4 weeks, and if you take Tom Brady out of the mix because he hasn't thrown a single interception, Mariota's been the next best quarterback in the NFL for the last month.
They're playing off of the strength of their football team, which is running the ball. DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry starting to get a few more carries. They've added Mariota in as a runner, and now it's opening up some of those passing lanes, and his accuracy is really coming to the front again.
They're down at 2. And it's incomplete. Marshall looking for a flag, and here it comes. Boy, it came mighty late. And LaMarcus Joyner wondering, are you sure?
So this is Joyner, number 20, working inside.
I think they're wondering, Charles, if the ball was tipped.
Yeah, that's going to be the question. because he did grab him initially in the
Before the
route.
pass was thrown, holding defense number 20. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
So I think they were talking about that. Apparently the ball wasn't tipped, and it is a hold against Joyner.
And LaMarcus Joyner is one of the feistiest, toughest guys you're going to find in the National Football League. But at 5'8", 184, matched up with Brandon Marshall at 6'4", 230, what Joyner was trying to do was stop him in his route early, try and be physical, get underneath him. Instead, his arms got out wide, and he grabbed it instead of shucking him at the line of scrimmage.
Forte. Not much running room so far today for Matt Forte outside of that 28-yard run. He has 7 other carries for fewer than 10 yards. You talk about Joyner. All of these guys obviously were great high school players. That goes without saying. But I mean, you talk about the best of the best. Joyner was the USA Today's National High School Defensive Player of the Year before moving on to Florida State.
A little guy who could run and packs a wallop when he tackles.
Forte cuts it back to the inside. Dropped right at the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd down and 10. Ogletree, his first year as a middle linebacker, in on the stop.
And just watch how they handle the line of scrimmage. They take care of everything there, which allows everyone to run to the football. See Sims 97, Ogletree 52. Coming from inside out is Cam Thomas, number 92. And now the Rams have the advantage on defense. 3rd and long. Greg Williams, very much a pressure guy. Look at Mark Barron right in the middle, number 26, with Ogletree 52, right in the middle of the baby blitz.
They try and fool him, and the crowd doesn't like the call on 3rd down and 10. And you know what? You can't blame him. I mean, you're trying to win every game. Everybody understands that. But you know, when you're 3-6 and it's 3rd down and 10 from your own 40, I don't think it's unreasonable to expect fans to see you put it in the air.
Yeah, they would love to see that. And I think Chan Gilly, the offensive coordinator, and Todd Bowles, head coach, are saying 2nd-year quarterback, playing pretty well so far. Like our field position. Don't do something crazy here. Punt it away and let's play defense.
Great punt, chasing Austin inside the 10. Austin now across the 15 and spun down short of the 20-yard line. Boy, one of the great pictures in this great country. Rams have moved the ball pretty well so far here today. Keenum 8 of 11, 114 yards. They've been good on 3rd down, 4 out of 7. Not much from Gurley. And nearly 100 receiving yards through a quarter plus for Kenny Britt. First down, Keenum looking to the sideline, and that's right through the hands of the intended receiver, Tavon Austin. The Gavitt tip-off games coming your way Tuesday on FS1. The Maryland Terrapins, their crosstown rival, the Georgetown Hoyas. And then our old buddy Barry Alvarez, his Wisconsin Badgers, taking on Creighton.
He coaching hoops now too?
He should.
The Godfather?
He can coach anything.
I didn't realize that. I thought Greg Gadd's like, I thought I had to do.
Always got to pump up Barry Alvarez.
He is the Godfather now.
Yes, he is.
That's our guy.
You may think there are some Godfathers, you know, in this area around here. Barry Alvarez is the man.
He's the Godfather, no doubt about it. He's our guy. But this game will continue to go if the Jets continue. The Jets are going to say, Case Keenum may hit a few balls on us, but he's got to do it all game long. But we're not letting that guy, number 30, be the guy to shred us. The defenses are stacked accordingly when he's in the game.
9 of those 10 yards came on 1 carry for Gurley. 3rd down and 8. Keenum trying to escape trouble, cannot. He is sacked. A number of Jets in there to chase him down, starting with Stevie McClendon.
And this is why they were able to get home and get the sack. Buster Screen, 41 in the slot. Darrell Roberts, 27 up top. Darrelle Revis had a tough time, right? Well, not on this one. Even got a little bit of a hip hold there on Kenny Britt that goes undetected. But they have lockdown coverage, which allowed Lorenzo Malden to get home for the sack.
And there were a whole host of Jets there. This one punted. Chasing Jalen Marshall. He's had ball control issues all year long when he's been back there. There's a penalty flag down. Marshall, a pair of fumbles early in the year on punts that were returned then for touchdowns. He was out injured for a while before he had the best game of his NFL career as a receiver a week ago.
And we're going to get a push in the back on this one as he was trying to field the ball. One of his teammates trying to help him out and shield guys off, push someone in the back. I think that's where the penalty is going to result.
So we continue to wait on Ed Hochuli to check in with the rest of his mates and let us know exactly the call.
During the punt, illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 20. That's it, number 30. It's a 10-yard penalty. It is enforced from where the punt was caught. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
The penalties on Nick Marshall. And you'll get a look at it on Marquez going to break. That's just a shove in the back. Grateful Nation is a nonprofit corporation dedicated to the support of U.S. combat veterans and their families during and after their transition from the military to civilian life. The organization's focus is to serve the special operations community and associated personnel, and we are wearing their pins today. And obviously a big tip of the hat to all of those who served our country on this Veterans Day weekend. Penalty flag down on the first down carry.
Illegal hands to the face, defense, number 90. That's a 5-yard penalty enforced from the end of the run and an automatic first down.
Check in downstairs with Peter Schrager.
Tom, you know, you always like to see what a veteran quarterback does when he's the backup to the young guy. And I was watching over that last series, and Ryan Fitzpatrick was the one in Bryce Petty's ear the entire time. Case Keenum, who was actually the quarterback of the Rams, said that's exactly what Fitzpatrick was for him when they shared time together in Houston. Fitzpatrick wanted to play. He's here, though. He's coaching him up.
LaMarcus Joyner has been battling a tender back all year long. It appears that's what's bothering him now. We'll be back in a moment. Good news, LaMarcus Joyner appears to be okay, continuing to stretch out over on the sideline.
He's a tough guy, Tom. He broke a toe against Seattle earlier this year, continued to play, hasn't missed any games. I think Bryce Petty, though, right now is a story for me in this game. Very impressed by how he started in his first start.
So the number 6 out of 8. He really has a lot of help from the running game outside of that big carry by Forte, which put him inside the 10-yard line.
I think Chan Gailey, his offensive coordinator, has done enough that every throw isn't a big throw. You know, he's going to utilize that. We saw it earlier with the deep fade route, but he's also making those short throws, little stick throws, and then they came up with a nice little gadget down near the goal line, an easy pitch and catch to Brandon Marshall on the lateral, turned into a touchdown. But I think his poise has really impressed me. He's had a lot of patience in his career. We'll talk about that as the game develops.
Pretty nice catch right there by Powell, and cuts it back to the inside, spins his way across the 35-yard line. Powell is a nice weapon in this Jets backfield, although infrequently used this year.
And this really should go down as a running play. That's a lateral, all right? That's not a pass, but it's a great catch. A lateral for Powell, takes it upfield and gets up 14 yards. Nice vision, one cut, and gets into the secondary for a nice gain.
Well, Powell caught 47 passes a year ago, and he missed 5 games. He won't come anywhere close to that number unless he gets busy this year. They cannot get off the snap before the 2-minute warning. 6-3 Jets with the ball and the lead. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Todd Gurley just staying loose. He's had a sore thigh that cropped up on him during this week of practice. And they set up a screen to Powell. Tries to turn the corner and is run out of bounds, stopping the clock with 1:54 to play. The Jets have all 3 timeouts remaining. And a 6-3 lead. LaMarcus Joyner has come back into the game for the LA defense.
There's Robert Quinn. You saw him, number 94. He's had some injury issues during the year. Got off to a really nice start. But since the injuries, the pass rush hasn't been there from him as is usually prominent.
He's been bothered with a sore shoulder, missed a couple of games. And now sacked is Petty by the veteran William Hayes. And we check in back in Los Angeles with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Kansas City at Carolina. The Panthers were already up 10-0 thanks to a Cam Newton rushing touchdown, and then he airs this one out 38 yards to Devin Funchess. The Panthers up 17-0, looking to make a dent in that NFC South. Tom?
We were talking, Carissa, a little bit earlier. Don't look now, but here come the Panthers after a dreadful start. We know all about their division. Atlanta 6-3 record. If Carolina can win a game, they go to 4-5, and maybe not yet in the division, but certainly in that wild card. They're very much in the hunt. Oh my goodness! And Petty missed a wide open Robbie Anderson that should have been 6.
And they picked the right target, as it turned out, because LaMarcus Joyner's got a buzz out of there from deep and doesn't get deep enough. I mean, from close to the line of scrimmage, doesn't get deep enough. And there's a shot that is absolutely missed. That's a layup missed in basketball.
So is that on the quarterback or the receiver?
That's on the quarterback. When he's that wide open, you just put it on the receiver. You don't worry as much about leading him.
Austin dropped right where he caught it at the 20-yard line, and we're going to find out from our buddy Kurt Menefee what's coming up on the Visa halftime.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the Chiefs try to make it 5 wins in a row as they take on Cam and the Carolina Panthers. The Texans look to stay atop the AFC South. We'll also preview that big Dallas and Pittsburgh contest. So make sure you come back and join me and the guys on the Visa halftime.
All right, Kurt, thank you. I got to tell you, Charles, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I'm not sure I'm buying Kansas City. I know they have the good record at 6-2. Those wins have come against, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, New Orleans.
I thought this was a tester game for exactly who they were. And so far, Carolina's taking care of that. So we'll see how it goes. Long way to go with them. Remember, they did go to Oakland and handled Oakland by 16 points, who now leads their division.
That was the start of this recent winning streak. First down reception made under a minute. And a 6-3 Jets lead. Keenum today has hit on 9 out of 13, 118 yards. The Rams on third down today are 4 out of 8, so they're at 50%.
And those are numbers you can win with.
But our fans back in Los Angeles, as there's an incomplete pass, third down coming up, Charles, our fans in Los Angeles who were chanting for Jared Goff last week, are they sitting in front of the tube right now back in Southern California saying, where's Goff?
Truthfully, yes, they are. Because when you go from 15-1 in the draft, you expect that guy to play in today's football. You don't expect him to sit a while. Now, truthfully, looking around, Carson Wentz wasn't supposed to play, right? If Teddy Bridgewater doesn't get hurt, that doesn't happen. Dak Prescott wasn't supposed to play. All right, so, some emergencies have made that happen. But when you have a #1 pick and you're not winning games, people want to see him play.
Well, he was under huge pressure there by Christian from the strong safety blitz. So after getting the punt, it's 3 and out. And now the Jets, 31 seconds left. 43 left, I beg your pardon. You're thinking maybe we have a chance.
The Buster Screen coming at him there, number 41, coming off of a corner blitz, one of those cat blitzes from inside the slot, put the pressure on and forced the incompletion.
This time it's Nick Marshall rather than Jalen Marshall back to return the punt. And with 33 seconds now left, and after Buster Screen able to deny the Rams that third down conversion, you have a rookie, you've got timeouts left. You going to give him a chance here with less than a minute?
I think at a 6-3 game, it wouldn't shock me at all if they just run the football and get out of here. Would not surprise me at all. Not that they think that Bryce Petty isn't one day going to be capable, but they don't want to have anything go crazy haywire right before the half, I don't believe. But look at him coming out of here, an empty backfield set and throwing it.
Short, safe throw. Forte dropped at the 34-yard line. The Jets are going to call a timeout. Let's go downstairs and check in with Peter Schrager. Peter, it's been quite a week for these Rams.
It sure has, Tom. Look, this is a team that's already played in London, come back. They uprooted their entire families over the offseason. But even this week, they decided they were going to fly in on Friday to New York, but they sat on the tarmac at LAX for 2.5 hours. They didn't land till even 3 a.m. in New York on Friday. And then Jeff Fisher had them up and going. 10 a.m. practice. Said he brought out the air horn. He was blowing that air horn second time this season. The only other time he did it, they won the game in Tampa.
Yeah, Peter, that air horn, he tries to just shake them up a little bit and tell them there's no excuses about time zones. He doesn't care about it. You have to be ready to play at the time that they kick off, and it worked well once against Tampa, as you said.
Sharon Peak, rookie out of Clemson, makes a reception. And he has run out of bounds. There is a penalty flag we noticed behind the line of scrimmage. This one's coming back, it looks like. Yep.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense number 71. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
It's Ben Ajelana, the left tackle. But you notice, Tom, they came out and it looked like they were really in attack mode and ran some pretty safe passes. Here's Ajelana, 71, working on pass protection against Robert Quinn, number 94. And there's the hand right up under the face mask. And that's the call that the officials saw. But they do trust Petty in terms of this short intermediate throwing the football. And they gave him a couple opportunities before the penalty.
Right now they're going to go ahead.
Yeah, this is it.
Although Forte might make you think about the next play a little bit. You still have some time here. Granted, only 15 seconds, but you have 2 timeouts. You know, theoretically, if you could run 2 quick plays, maybe you get in field goal range. It'd have to be very quick.
And it'd be interesting to see what the Rams decide to do, because a lot of teams in this situation play zone and play soft and give you those gaps. But Greg Williams is oftentimes is a guy that will still blitz you in these type of situations. Remember, we had him get to Arizona on the Hail Mary on the last play of the game. He blitzed it. Not many people do that. So let's see what the Rams decide to do as well.
Marshall will step out of bounds at the 45. That took all of, what, 4 seconds off the clock? And that's a first down. Now, Folk has only attempted 1 field goal from beyond 50 yards this year. His career long is 56.
So they're going to need to get to, what, the 40-yard line? Almost to the 40 to have, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood. Let's see if there are any gaps with how deep the safeties might play for the Rams. Because oftentimes they will play deep. And if you can get a gap in an intermediate spot, you might have one more play in you.
Blitz coming, and he started to throw it. Looked like he tried to hold up, and it came right out of his fingertips. So now 7 seconds remain.
I know you're surprised by this, Tom, but Greg Williams brought a blitz. I mean, but really what really helped it was number 95, William Hayes, just pushing the pocket. See how he took Breno Giacomini back towards the quarterback? That may have spooked Petty a little bit, trying to draw the ball back.
This will be the final play of the opening half, as Powell still on his feet, but he's tackled inside the 40, and that is that. So a pair of struggling teams, especially struggling offenses, have certainly lived up to that billing. It is halftime, and it is 6-3 our halftime score. Jets will get the ball to begin the second half. So standing by in Los Angeles, Kurt Menefee and company. It's time for the Visa halftime, which begins right now.
This is copyrighted by NFL Productions for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
Today's excitement brought to you by the new Nissan Titan. Put it in the hands of Marshall, and they flip it to Powell. How about that one? Touchdown, Jets. And that was today's excitement. Not a lot of it. Brought to you by the new Nissan Titan. I mean, it is what it is, Charles Davis. You said before the game started, two things you're looking at: third down conversion rate, red zone opportunities.
Well, both of them been pretty okay on third down. I mean, 4 of 9 for the Rams and 4 of 7 for the Jets. Red zone opportunity, both only gotten there one time each. The Jets cashed it in with the touchdown, the hook and lateral play, and the Rams kicked the field goal. So both of them have to get there more before that stat really shows up. But how about the rushing yardage? That's the problem for the Rams right now. They only ran the ball in the first half for 39 yards, and for a team that's their identity, that's problematic.
Well, the Jets will get the football. They'll get it at the 25, and we check in downstairs. Halftime report from Peter Schrager.
Tom just spoke with Jeff Fisher. It looks like it's going to be Case Keenum in the second half. They're sticking with him. Says we've got to establish the run, but also let's cause a turnover or two on defense. As far as getting the offense going, Fisher said, I'm expecting to explore all options. You might see some gadget plays coming up.
And Peter, that's interesting that you talked about the turnovers again, because Jeff Fisher really emphasized that. To me, he was trying to take the pressure off of his offense and put it on the team, the side of the team that could handle it, the defense, and tell them to take care of helping their offense.
Now, the Jets haven't run it much either. That is Forte, and Brocker slams him to the deck. They got the one big run, as we brought up earlier, a 28-yarder to set up the touchdown by Forte in the opening half. Outside of that, 13 total carries, 56 yards for Matt Forte. Wide open across the middle. Wide open across the middle was Enunwa, and Petty never saw him. Third down coming up. Some missed chances early on for the Jets.
And we had the missed extra point after the 99-yard touchdown drive by the Jets. Nick Folk missed one earlier this year against Cincinnati, and they lost that game by a point. But here was the real big missed opportunity. Wide open was Robbie Anderson, and Bryce Petty, instead of just putting the ball on the receiver so you don't miss him, tried to lead him and make it a little bit too perfect, a little bit too fine, and he missed the whole shot.
Todd Bowles, 52 years young, grew up about a half hour from here in Elizabeth, New Jersey. There's Marshall, well short of a first down. So 3 and out to begin the second half for Petty and the Jets. Alexander on the stop. And the Rams set to get the football after Greg Williams' defense delivers the goods to begin this second stanza.
I think that Chan Gailey's going to have to go back to Bryce Petty's big arm and push it downfield a few more times, because the Rams are really starting to creep up in coverage and start to snuff out all the underneath stuff.
The Australian Edwards puts a foot on a good punt, backing up Austin to the 15-yard line, but he's got some room. And Austin out of bounds at the 18. That's where Charles Davis hangs out when he comes here. He's not hanging over here in Jersey. He's in the big city.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. And by State Farm, here to help life go right.
Charles Davis alma mater, the New Paltz Huguenots, getting a big one against the Marlboro Iron Dukes in the Section 9 Class B final, 33-17. You were there to watch it.
How about that? My alma mater, so proud of them. Tom Tegler, the head coach. You saw Jimmy Verney, number 4, Joey DeMarco, number 3, Hunter McVay, number 1. Proud of those guys. They got beat in the next round against Pleasantville, but a fantastic season, Huguenots.
Tipped ball by David Harris on a first down throwing attempt by Keenum. This went on just moments ago. Alec Ogletree and Aaron Donald.
And you know Aaron Donald, he's a feisty player. You remember earlier this year against San Francisco, didn't he get ejected from that game when he had a couple of penalties? And you see there, he and Alec Ogletree getting into it. But that's a lot of emotion that goes into playing defense for them. And don't forget how much pressure that defense is under all the time. And you see how they made up very quickly? That passion runs deep, it flares hot, and then they go right back to being brothers again.
And, you know, when you spend any time around both of those guys, and look, there are some guys, it's no different than life, football players. There are some really, really good guys, and there are some guys you'd rather not be your neighbor. These two guys are good young men.
Yeah, look, they can hang out in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. They're good, all right? But Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, not quite as genteel when it comes to playing a ball game, all right? Because right now in the field, you know, field of battle right there, a lot of passion going on.
Yep.
And look at the pressure that defense is under yet again. They've held a team to 6 points, yet they're trailing in another ball game. They're trying to figure out a way to score themselves on defense.
They're down in 6, and you're running a route that is nowhere close to getting a first down, so it's 3 and out for the Rams. And before the punt, let's send it back to Los Angeles to Carissa Thompson.
What a gorgeous day. Ed Hockley loving this day, isn't he? Huh, Tom?
I understand we lost you there momentarily. Those of you at home, a punt was fielded by
During
Marshall.
the return, illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 14. Half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. First down.
That would be news if Ryan Fitzpatrick was on the punt return team. Well, the only touchdown drive, the only scoring drive of this game for the New York Jets came in an almost identical position where they are right now. At a 99-yard drive spanning 9 plays. And now they'll try and go 96 yards to reach pay dirt. Spun down Forte. A gain of close to 5 on first down. Well, what a career it has been for Forte. 30 years young, out of Slidell, Louisiana. His first season as a Jet, following 8 outstanding years with the Chicago Bears. 5 times over 1,000 rushing yards, a couple of Pro Bowls, and one of 4 players ever with over 9,000 rushing yards, 4,000 receiving yards, over 500 receptions. Fake it one way, Petty rolls the other, and that'll be enough for a first down. The short, easy throw to Powell.
Petty escaping the pocket, trying to decide whether to run it or throw it, puts it on Powell, and what a great move, spinning back inside of Mark Barron. Gets Barron overcommitted, trying to make the tackle. Excellent move back inside, understood where the first down sticks were, and got it. You see Brandon Marshall getting a little attention over on the sideline, and that's not good news for the Jets.
And a very quiet day again for Marshall. 4 receptions, just 15 yards. Big running room for Forte. All the way across the 40, tripped up to the 42-yard line.
Take a look here. Really well blocked up front. Watch Brandon Bostic, who's normally a tight end. Look at him lead up front, and he takes out Alec Ogletree, 52. Ends up giving himself up on the play. Really nicely done by the Jets offensive line. Gives him an easy sprint to the secondary. And look at the vision of Forte. Look at the eyes searching for open space.
15 carries, 84 rushing yards now for Forte. Nowhere to go on this carry. May have lost a yard. They were talking about Forte, originally a second-round pick of the Chicago Bears, and one of 4 ever 50 or more rushing touchdowns, 500+ receptions, more than 20 receiving touchdowns. I mean, you're talking about company with Herschel Walker, Marcus Allen, and Marshall Faulk.
Phenomenal. And remember, he came out of school out of Conference USA at Tulane. Same year as Chris Johnson, CJ2K, who came out of East Carolina. And then a young man out of UCF who went to the Detroit Lions, and Kevin Smith.
It's a good quartet right there. Good throw. And trying to wiggle away is Peak. But Tremaine Johnson, the highest paid Rams defender. All the big names on this team, but you know, they put a franchise tag on him last year. Last year was the first year he was ever a full-time starter.
And a lot of
hit the lottery with 7 interceptions.
And a lot of people thought Janoris Jenkins would be the target for the Rams to keep. I think within the Rams organization, Tremaine Johnson was the guy they truly wanted to keep, and they did. And boy, he gives a really good play out on the corner.
There's a big third down, trying to keep this drive alive, and hit Petty as he threw, and it's incomplete. Robert Quinn was there to get a hand on the arm of Petty, and of course no one dislodges the football in the NFL the last 5 years more than Quinn.
18 forced fumbles on sacks, strip sacks along with 18 forced fumbles for Robert Quinn in that time span, the most in the NFL. And right there he does it again, getting his hand on the football and forcing the incompletion.
Tavon Austin stands back inside his own 15. End over end punt. And this will check up and down to the 25.
Good work, good work, good work.
6-3 in the third. Rams have had 6 possessions in this game. The first one they kicked a field goal. The last 5 punts, 3 and out on each of their last 3 drives. And no team in football has had more 3 and outs offensively than the Rams. Nice carry there on first down for Gurley.
Tomorrow we debate all of today's NFL action.
I'm telling you, Skip, Tony Romo is coming.
Please no. Undisputed, America's fastest growing sports show, 9:30 Eastern, FS1.
Skip and Shannon undisputed tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. Back-to-back carries for Gurley. And that's a total of 15 yards on back-to-back carries, so a nice start to this drive for the Rams.
And they really did it a little more up-tempo. They got the big run from Gurley, went right to the line of scrimmage. It wasn't a super hurry-up, but they got to the line of scrimmage, kept the Jets in the same defense, same guys on the field, and ran a back second play before they went back and got into the huddle. Let's see if they start to vary the tempo and maybe try to increase it a little bit on this drive.
Keenum will run it himself. He will dive very close to a first down. I think by the time he was touched, he already had a first down right at the 50. Yep, it is the first down.
Watch how he goes back into the pocket. See what he surveys. All right, when he's back in the pocket, what does he see? Now look to your left. He sees nothing but wide open space. Knows he doesn't have that much to get for the first down and goes right for the marker. Look at the determination on Case Keenum's face. He knew where he had to get, and he did exactly that.
Jets lead 6-3, under 7 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Play action. And a dangerous throw, leaping high into the air, but unable to get it was Malden. Looked like Wilkerson put a big hit on Case Keenum.
You know, the Rams are throwing a bunch of short and intermediate routes now. Okay, so I think that they've got to think about trying to extend things a little bit, press it downfield some, because they tried to show that. That was the illusion of a deep route. They're trying to bring it underneath to Tavon Austin. But right now the Jets are sitting on those shorter and intermediate routes. They've got to press them a little bit and get them back on their heels to create more space.
Second down and 10. And now Keenum going to run it again. And clearly there's good running room. That's a gain of 7, close to 8. Third down upcoming, but right now we send it back to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Denver at New Orleans. The Saints down 10-3, looking to get to 500. They won 4 of their last 5. That one to Willie Snead, who was wide open in the back of the end zone, all tied up in New Orleans, 10-10. Tom, Charles, and Peter.
That's a terrific young man right there, Willie Snead. Know his dad. He's the son of a high school football coach. Willie came in as an undrafted free agent and has made his way with New Orleans, become one of their prime targets. They had the last home win versus Denver is 1988 for New Orleans.
Malden, the injured New York Jet, will step aside. Early, a couple of nice carries, but it's been a quiet day, averaging barely over 2 yards per rushing attempt. Rams 4 of 10 on third down, a 3rd and 3 here, but 0 for their last 5.
Expect the Jets to bring pressure. Todd Bowles is known for that. I think he's really wanted to increase it in this game in third down situations.
The game clock should be 6:14. 6:14 of the game clock. Didn't start when I wound it. 6:14 in the game clock.
Well, there's 5 seconds.
The play clock. Set the
they're
play
going to put
clock
the
at 10
play
seconds.
clock at 10. We saw that stay there at 5 and thought you better hurry up once they start the clock.
Nice job by Ed Hockley explaining it so that everybody's on the same page and understood, because that was a huge question. There's only 5 on the play clock. What do we do? And it's going to start, I believe, on his whistle.
So it does indeed. Play clock now down to 4. They hand it off. He doesn't get the ball very much, but Benny Cunningham, when they give it to him, he's done a nice job. Only his 3rd carry, but 27 yards on those 3 carries.
Very determined running, and watch him. He's going to go from left to right. And see the blocking there. Nice double team there by the center. 61 Barnes, and the right guard Wickman 69, and just enough space. And watch Cunningham lower his shoulder to absorb the hit by David Harris and made sure he fell forward to pick up the first down.
5:30 to play here in the 3rd quarter, and the Rams on the move. They give it to Gurley, and he's starting to pick up some nice yards here. His last 3 carries.
You notice they went with what we call ghost motion. Watch Austin come around, because you have to respect when he comes back towards the football. They give it to Gurley, you're faking to Austin, so you're setting something up for later if you want to go to it. But another nice hole created by the Rams offensive line. Barnes fell down out in front, but look at the job Saffold and crew did on the left side. Saffold 76, Greg Robinson 73 to create that space.
Gurley had 10 rushing yards total in the first half. His last 3 carries have gone for 13, 5, 6, and now 1.
And they're getting most of it inside the tackles now. Have you noticed? And I thought that what they would want to do today was to try and get wider and get him more to the perimeter and try and find a little more open space. But since this is working inside the tackles a little bit better, expect them to stay with it until there's an adjustment by the Jets.
On a 3rd down and 3 a moment ago, they gave the ball to Cunningham. Now he is split to the right in the slot. Britt has been their 3rd down receiver today, though. And they go to Cunningham to convert on 3rd down and 3 for a 2nd straight time. That'll move the chains, and the clock runs under 4 to go into 3rd.
So watch what they do with Cunningham 23. Put him in the slot, as you noted, and they did a nice job with Britt trying to run a route. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's a pick to create that space for Cunningham. Well executed. But what they also did is they put Tavon Austin off to the other side and gave the illusion that that's where the ball would go and brought it back to Cunningham.
10th play of this drive for the Rams, trailing 6-3 in the hands of Austin. And nowhere to go. Read beautifully by the Jets defense. Buster Skrine leading the charge.
Buster Skrine's known as a physical corner. He was so physical there that he took the block of Brian Quick, number 83, and had Brian Quick actually tackle Tavon Austin. He knocked him down.
You and I both know when you grow up and you spend any time around those guys that wrestle,
yes,
it's a different animal.
Totally.
This guy is a 3-time Georgia high school state wrestling champion.
Toughness, leverage, incredible hands.
The discipline. Incredible discipline. And that's Austin. He escapes 1 tackle and is run out of bounds. It'll be 1st and goal for the Rams inside the 10. Broke a tackle of Julian Stanford.
So bunch formation, so you're going to get the first 2 out in front of him. They create the screen. They do an excellent job. That was Higbee, 89, with the key block. And all you're trying to do is give Tavon Austin a sliver of space. He runs through the tackle of Stanford, 51, to gain the extra yards. Look at him with a little straight arm. Small, compact, but has some strength to him.
All right, Charles Davis talked about 2 areas to keep an eye on before this game started. As a timeout is called. 3rd down, how would the teams fare? Well, both of them, Charles Davis, so far. Rams are 6 out of 12. They've done a nice job on 3rd down twice on this drive. The Jets are 4 out of 9, but you said, what would they do in the red zone? These are two of the worst red zone offenses in the NFL. And here we go. This could determine a game, and we're only in the third quarter.
Yeah, you're right about just because it's a 6-3 game so far. The last time they were here, they had to pay it off with a field goal. So now what are you doing with play calling? Do you have enough space that you and your offensive line, which seems to have developed a rhythm, to give it to Todd Gurley? Do you come back with Tavon Austin and find some more space for him? Gurley's in the game now. I'd like to give him a couple cracks at it and see if they can carry it in.
First down and goal from the 7. Well, they take a crack at it on first down. And I mean to tell you, Deion Simon just runs right through Gurley.
And right in the middle. Watch the big fella. Excuse me, I've circled the wrong guy. It's the guy next to him. Excellent job by Simon, 93. Throwing off Cody Wickman, number 69. Look at the hands and the strength. You just mentioned wrestling. That was leverage and hands by Deion Simon to throw him off. It's just like a wrestling move. You just described it, Tom. He was underneath him, low man one, and ended up winning the play.
Fake it to Austin, and they lay it off to Gurley, and that's defended beautifully by Marcus Gilchrist. There is a penalty flag down on the play.
Boy, was that ever defended well by Gilchrist. He pretty much ran the route with Todd Gurley, didn't he?
Jets are saying this is against the Rams. But of course, what else would they say? They might be right.
So are we getting offensive interference here?
Pass interference, offense. Number 83 was downfield blocking before the pass was caught. The 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's another area both of these teams have not been good in, is playing disciplined football.
No, not at all. And you see him here working with Buster Screen over the top of him. You can get 1 yard blocking downfield, but he's blocking farther before the ball's thrown, and they got him on that one. That's a really nice call by the officials.
So after they made the play to get inside the 10, that got him to the 7. They had a loss of 2, and now they have a penalty.
And you take Gurley out of your play calling equation too.
Second down and goal. And Keenum dropped at the 20-yard line. And that's Stevie McClendon again.
So you got Britt, 18, Austin, 11. Screen hugs up on Austin. Look like Darryl Roberts in the back part with Britt. That's where he wanted to go. Couldn't get the ball there. And Stevie McClendon, the former Pittsburgh Steeler, finishes that play off.
Third down and goal from the 20.
Notice they moved Britt inside to the slot. The big body guy maybe working the middle of the field.
Going for the end zone. And incomplete with an eye on Tavon Austin, and a flag comes in late. And Buster Screen is saying, you got to be kidding.
And Tom, I believe the back judge was reaching and then decided not to throw it. So he may be discussing this play because he had the view from the back of it. And he may be discussing about picking it up. Watch Screen 41 here in the coverage to Austin.
There was no foul on the play. The feet were tangled. By rule, that is not pass interference. It's fourth down.
Now watch here. Watch here. See him how he reached? Nope. Decided not to. So when the flag came out from the other side, he went to discuss it with his colleague and said, I had the best view. I decided not to throw it, and talked him out of that flag.
All right, so this will be a field goal try now for Zuerlein. Saw Fisher quite animated over there on that sideline.
Well, listen, anytime a flag is thrown and it's supposed to go your way and it gets picked up, he's asking, why did you throw it then? Well, you know, if you throw it, shouldn't there be a call made?
38-yard attempt by Zuerlein. His only 2 misses all year were from 55. Good snap, good hold, good kick. Well, you can call it a lot of things. but it's 6-6. I mean, take a look at this scoring drive. That is less than 4 yards per play over 8 minutes. You have the ball first and goal at the 7, and you have to kick a 38-yard field goal. But that, in a nutshell, is what we have seen frequently from this Rams offense for a long, long time. Now we're out across the 25 up to the 27-yard line in the 6-6 game. 15 ticks left in the third. In honor of Veterans Day, for every point scored during the NFL's 32 Salute to Service games, the league will donate $1,000 to its military nonprofit partners, including the Pat Tillman Foundation, USO, and the Wounded Warrior Project. To join the salute and learn more, we invite you to visit NFL.com/salute, the Stars and Stripes. And we thank all of those that have served, that are serving, and that will serve. They're still the greatest country in the world. That should be the final play of this third quarter. "15 minutes to go." A 6-6 game from the Meadowlands. Well, here's the real truth and nothing but the truth. The score by quarter. Field goal for the Rams, a touchdown with a missed point after for the Jets in the second. A field goal to tie it by Zuerlein in the third. And here we go in the fourth in a 6-6 game. And a first down carry by Matt Forte is up to the second down carry, rather, is up to the 40-yard line, and that's enough for a first down. And now some extra stuff going on, and penalty flags come down on the play. Giacomini's been in the middle of some of that all day today.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense, number 91. 15 yards, first down.
That's a local kid from Staten Island. Played at Curtis High School. Dominique Easley, number 91.
See, Giacomini came in number 68. He was doing what the offensive linemen call cleaning people off of their runners before the whistle blows, and Easley took offense to it, got up and gave him the shove. And one more time, folks, say it with me, partner. The second guy gets caught, right? I mean, they've been telling us that since we were in kindergarten.
That's right. Petty, and this is his first NFL start. Thought about letting it go, finally does to Forte. And he's inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. And a third down coming up. Or 2nd and 3 it'll be. Take a look at this. The two teams, 14 combined drives, 10 times punts.
And LaMarcus Joyner just came onto the field for the Rams, number 20, and he has a noticeable limp. I'm wondering if the people in the press box, the coaches, are noticing that and want to see if they can try and isolate him in coverage at all.
It looks like they're going to run it on 2nd down and 3 and drop for a loss.
And he's getting a little chippy, brother.
Yes, they are.
You got two teams fighting for their playoff lives. I know people sit here and go 3-5, 3-6. No, they're still in it. It's not over yet, right? So you're fighting for it. You know another one probably takes you out of it. And these two now in a 6-6 game, it's not an artistic success. That doesn't mean the effort isn't there. Doesn't mean the passion isn't there. And we're seeing that right now. It's really starting to come to a head with these two teams.
You know, Dominic Easley's an interesting young man. We told you he grew up in Staten Island and went to Curtis High School. He was a #1 pick by the New England Patriots, who told him to beat it after 2 years. Third down, incomplete pass. Excellent coverage by Troy Hill. So another drive stalls.
Watch Hill, 32. Easy in his technique, doesn't panic, not flustered. The move by Robbie Anderson, he stays right with it on the hip and cuts underneath, undercuts it, and knocks it away. Remember how many times have I said it now, Tom? Both secondaries have tightened down on the receivers, so without getting pushed deep, they don't feel like they have to worry about anything going over their heads.
Edwards trying to pin him deep, and a fair catch at the 7-yard line by Austin. Beautiful day. And a 6-6 game.
Game is sponsored by Zales. Celebrate your lasting love with gifts from Zales, the Diamond Store. And by Pfizer, Prevnar 13.
Well, after 4 consecutive losses, many in Los Angeles thought the offense needed a jolt, and that meant the #1 pick. Jared Goff finally getting into a game for the first time. In fact, the Coliseum, you could hear the chants very late in the game against Carolina. Started after a number of series in the opening half. Goff never got into the game. The #1 overall pick out of Cal. They made a huge trade as this is Gurley off to the right side on 2nd down, and he picks up maybe 2. You know, you look through the #1 picks overall, and you know, the first interception they threw, first pass they threw in the first game, Jamarcus Russell and Alex Smith, the only one not.
And I circled Russell because he was the last one of those guys previously that didn't take the first snap of the season because he held out.
Did not start game 1. That's a catch made by Britt, but again, the question is, did he get enough for a first down?
Doesn't appear to be by how they're pacing it off. I think he's a little short on that.
And Charles, I got to tell you, you know, of all of the plays and the ineptitude on offense that we have seen in this game, if I'm a fan for either one of these teams, that play right there we've seen 4 times already in this second half, where on 3rd and whatever the distance, the receiver did not get to the first down marker.
And I think part of that is the tight coverage is preventing them from getting deeper and coming back, and it's making it tough. We have an injury. Tim Barnes is down right now.
Barnes able to get to the sideline. 6-6 game is Tavon Austin, who only has 4 touches in this game so far today. 2 rushing attempts, 2 receptions, and we always look out for Hecker.
Exactly, and the Jets left their defense on the field for precisely that reason, Tom. They played what we call punt safe.
Look at this punt, all the way back to the 5-yard line. And Jalen Marshall is struck down at the 14-yard line. That Hecker is some kind of weapon. I mean, what a weapon he is.
Well, I go back to something Jeff Fisher told us a few weeks ago, that if I get into games where it's field position is going to be key, I love my punter and I love my gunners. And that just came up because a 78-yard punt and not much return. Because normally when you punt it that far, right, we say, oh, you outkicked this cover, should be a gap to run through. Not much was there. They covered that really well. So Jeff Fisher's words may come to pass today. In a tight game, he really likes having Hecker as a weapon to set up field position and help his defense.
All right, so now the youngster Petty, he's not a rookie, but for all intents and purposes he is. He didn't play all of last year. Made his NFL debut just last week. His first start today. Tomorrow night, National Geographic invites you to join us for the premiere of Mars, Humankind's Greatest Adventure. Find out how we made Mars home. Premieres tomorrow night, only on National Geographic.
I'd like to meet Neil deGrasse Tyson, excuse me. I'd like to meet him. But the problem is, we couldn't have much of a conversation because I can only talk sports with him.
Petty will throw moving to his left. It's incomplete. And let's go back to LA to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. If you want some offense, here you go. Atlanta at Philly. Matt Ryan, nice protection and airs this one out 76 yards, the longest play of the season for the Falcons. Taylor Gabriel runs this one in. Atlanta's up 15-13. Tom, Charles, and Peter.
All righty, Carissa, thank you very much. The Eagles just missing on a 55-yard field goal attempt, so Atlanta remains in front. Nearly a full quarter to go.
And 3rd and long here, and you can see the pressure package that Greg Williams has together up near the line of scrimmage towards Bryce Petty.
Third down, Brandon Marshall back into the game. And very lucky that wasn't picked off by Alec Ogletree. He's able to knock it down. It's another 3 and out.
Watch how this starts. Watch Ogletree show pressure and get back into the passing lane. You might say, my goodness, a middle linebacker with that kind of range. You know, he went to the University of Georgia as a safety before becoming an outside linebacker, now moving into the middle this year with the Rams. But this is what Jeff Fisher wants. The pressure on his defense to try and help out his offense. They get a turnover, but they force the punt, and they should get better field position.
And with no Tavon Austin, they put in Pharaoh Cooper. Well, that's a nice play by Cooper, who's only playing in his second game all year long. They put him in to return a punt, and he fields it with great field position.
On Fox is sponsored by Citizen Echo Drive watches, powered by Light.
Six ball game. You look at the quarterbacks. Keenum now on the field, right at midfield. Petty making his first NFL start. Led him on a 99-yard touchdown drive in the opening half, but nothing since. And now Gurley, who in the fourth quarter of games this year has been virtually non-existent. A nice run there, a gain of 8. Let's go downstairs to Peter Schrager.
Yeah, guys, you saw Pharaoh Cooper return that last punt. Tavon Austin is currently out with an ankle injury. Cooper, number 10, is the guy to watch. They've been using him in that position.
Well, they like him, Peter. They like him a lot in terms of, you know, his play, but he's not Tavon Austin in terms of the quicks and the jets. Cooper, much more of a strong, solid guy, kind of Anquan Bolden, Steve Smith, like in terms of strength.
And that appears to be enough for a first down to Benny Cunningham. You know, you could make an argument right now that the most important play in this game was that 78-yard punt a minute ago by Johnny Hekker. He had pushed the Jets all the way inside their own 10-yard line. You know, they have to punt it. And the next time the Rams get it after a good defensive stand, it's right at midfield.
In lieu of the takeaways that Jeff Fisher's been asking for from his defense, that stand to force the punt really helped out in a big way.
Also had, of course, that missed extra point. You can make that argument. Because right now the Jets would still be in front. Looking down the field to Kenny Britt. And it's incomplete. Excellent coverage that time by Darrelle Revis.
That is absolutely, positively textbook coverage. Look at him. His leverage is outside, so he can see all the way in. See that? His eyes took him right back to the quarterback. Then he felt the route, and then he took his body and pinned Kenny Britt to the sideline and didn't give him room to fade to the sideline and go get the football. That's a savvy veteran play there by Darrelle Revis.
Second go-round, of course, for Revis when he came back last year with the Jets, where his career began. Won a Super Bowl in New England. And here's Gurley, powerful running and a first down to the 30-yard line. Closing in on 9 minutes to go, and the Rams in business.
Watch the interior of the Rams line and watch what they do here. Barnes 61, Saffold 76. Look at the double team there and create that space. Wickman 69 holding it down on the other guard. See that? And now they've created the space, and now Todd Gurley's vision gets better. You know, when you're running behind a whole lot of people and you can't see it much, your vision's pretty cloudy, right? And that hole opens up. Now you can see plenty into the secondary.
8 carries here in the second half. 45 yards for Gurley after going 10 rushes for 10 yards in the first half. And a gain of 5 there on first down or close to it. We'll call it 4.
And while that pass was unsuccessful to Kenny Britt, they did do something I've almost been begging for, right? Take some shots downfield, try and loosen some people up, make them respect that a little bit, so that maybe you can create some room underneath for those intermediate throws you're going to want to complete.
So Tavon Austin back on the Rams sideline, so not in the game.
Tim.
Good throw. And that's Pharaoh Cooper, who's in for Tavon Austin. There is a penalty flag, and Cooper may have shoved his way getting open. We'll see.
Is he working on Buster's screen there, 41? He's a very physical corner. And he had a rough night in Arizona on a Monday night. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
3 straight holding calls against him, 4 penalties overall, I believe, that night. But he's bounced back pretty well since then.
Well, obviously, this call is against the Jets because Ed Hockley is talking with Jeff Fisher about what he wants to do.
Illegal hands to the face, defense number 24. That's before the pass was thrown. The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
Pharoh Cooper, his 2nd career catch.
So right here, this is Revis, who's been on Britt all game long. He's traveled with him. And there it was, that little short punch right to the face. Didn't mean to get there. He was trying to take his hand and put it in the chest of the receiver to knock him off the route. Got up a little bit too high.
First down to 10 at the 20-yard line. Gurley cuts it back to the inside, and now you're starting to see that yards per carry begin to pick up a little bit here. He's averaging well over 5 yards per carry here in the second half. And Austin back in the game for the Rams.
And you know what else you're seeing? Some better movement up front on the line of scrimmage. His offensive line winning those battles there on this drive. You know, we haven't called Lance Kendrick's name really all game long, and I expected him to have a big game. He's split way out wide now. I think that's an illusion. I don't expect him to be the primary guy on this pass play.
He's had 7 catches in each of the last 2 games as Kendricks. Throw and incomplete. No penalty flag. Screen and coverage of Austin. A 3rd down.
A little bit different in terms of size working inside for Tavon Austin. Because he's a little bit smaller, he doesn't get to use his body the same way a Kenny Britt does, right? A Brian Quick does, where they can screen off a defender. The defender's the same size as he is, if not bigger.
6 out of 14, 3rd down for the Rams. This is a big one. If the Rams can score a touchdown, the Jets are in a world of trouble, because their offense has done virtually nothing all day. Neither team has. Force them to kick a field goal, you're all right. They're looking for Cunningham out of the backfield. And you know, Charles, you can sit around and I think any game you watch, college or pro, the easiest thing in the world to do is sit around and critique the play calling.
Yes.
But it does make you wonder on this drive. The first down carry from the 20, you get 4, close to 5 out of Gurley. He leaves the game. You throw a crossing route incomplete. And now you're throwing a running back, basically a jump ball in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, they thought that what they were trying to do was get the wheel route and get it isolated on a linebacker. But they ended up with Darren Lee, who's a former cornerback in college and can run with running backs.
Field goal try, and it is good from 34 yards out by Greg Zuerlein. And the Rams are in front 9-6. Great coverage by the rookie Lee. A 3-point game. Talk about the red zone and all the problems both of these teams have had all year long, but look at the Rams. 8 plays inside the red zone, -4 yards, but
they lead.
They lead.
And listen, they put it on their defense. I said it earlier. Jeff Fisher said, I'm not going to tamper with my offense. They might be a little fragile now. Defensive guys, I'm putting it on you to help carry our team, and right now they've carried them to a lead.
C.J. Spiller, the return up to the 25-yard line. So you have the 2 big plays so far in this game. The Jets, after scoring a touchdown, Folk pushes it wide right on the point after, keeping it a 3-run game. And then really the 78-yard punt.
Amazing, wasn't it? And, you know, there might have been a school of thought for Jalen Marshall to just let that go and let it hit into the end zone. And what we didn't show there, remember what you described, the catch by Pharoh Cooper on the next punt back to the Rams, where he caught it out near midfield, saved field position, and set them up for that field goal drive.
First down, and Petty on the mark to Powell out of the backfield, and that's a gain of 10. Let's go back to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Well, coming up after your guys' game, America's Game of the Week. Dak Prescott and the 7-1 Cowboys on the road to take on Ben Roethlisberger and the 4-4 Steelers. 2 storied programs right there. 11 Super Bowls between these 2 teams. It's going to be a good one. Tom?
Looking forward to that one. But right now, this is all about Bryce Petty. Young man who made his NFL debut last week. Went 2 out of 2 when Fitzpatrick injured his knee, but Fitzpatrick came in to finish the game. And he'll feed Powell again, and that's up to the 40-yard line, a gain of 5. 6 minutes to go. Can Bryce Petty, and this is first NFL start, can he bring his team from behind and win in the fourth quarter? That's how you get your name in bright lights here in New York.
Not only do you do that, but maybe you force them to make a decision to leave you in the lineup when Brian Fitzpatrick is healthy. So that's what it comes down to for Bryce Petty here. And the Rams are counting on him not being able to nickel and dime him all the way downfield.
Oh, Forte is still on his feet. He should have been dropped behind the line of scrimmage. He ran right through a tackle, 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and turns it into a first down run.
Let's see if the fundamentals were there. There's a tackle by Ogletree, but he didn't bring his arms with him. Didn't wrap him up. Got the initial pop, but without the wrap up. Watch Forte. Bounces, spins, and gets upfield.
95 rushing yards now for Forte, 11 more out of the backfield. Catching the football, so 100+ yards from scrimmage day. Short drop, quick throw, should have been had. C.J. Spiller unable to get it. 5 to go.
It almost appear like when Spiller came out, almost a little surprised that the ball was on him so quickly. Almost. You know, look how late the hands are coming up. Should have been one. He should have had that one. That ball was put on him pretty well. Look at that. Drop passes, stall, offense.
Bad combination when your quarterback leads the NFL in interceptions, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you drop 19 passes. That one knocked down by Robert Quinn. 3rd down and 10.
And fundamentally, if you're going to try and throw this pass, you've got to do what? You got to get the hands out of the passing lane. Watch Ijalana. You've got to get his hands down. So he pushes him, but he essentially pushed him into the path. He's got to hit him more in the stomach area, because that naturally brings the hands down to protect where he just got hit. Instead, he just pushed him in the shoulders and lifted him into the passing lane, and Quinn responded well with a knockdown.
This is a critical 3rd down. In a 3-point game with less than 5 to go. Good protection, and now the pocket collapses, and that is a forward pass incomplete.
And I'm not sure where he was shoveling that. I was trying to find that receiver that the shovel pass would have worked on that. Because watch him, he's got it in the pocket. He's looking to throw it regularly, looking, padding. Now as he steps forward, actually he wasn't shoveling, well, he's holding it back. And I think right here he held it back, and now he's trying to shovel it forward. I think he's trying to hit Robbie Anderson on the crossing route. Just wasn't there. The pressure of the Rams done really well against him.
That one nearly blocked. Pharaoh Cooper comes up to make the fair catch. You know, look, when you're sitting around talking about a punt 78 yards, and you're talking about a missed extra point, it clearly has not been an offense-dominated kind of a day. I still go back, and you made the point to that play made by Pharaoh Cooper. I think you can really look when Tavon Austin left the game, and after the 78-yard punt, he comes racing up to catch the ball at the 50-yard line. How many times do we see that ball bounce and you get the ball at the 30?
It's almost a lost art, but it's one of the best parts of the kicking game that people have to adopt, and it should be your mantra. Don't let the ball hit the ground on the punt. Catch the thing, keep the yardage, because that hidden yardage that you give up can cost you in a big way. In this case, it gained a field goal for the Rams.
And especially the way these two teams are on offense today. I mean, that extra 15 or 20 yards right now is the difference in the game.
The area of hidden yardage is something else, isn't it? And it doesn't go onto your stat sheets, but the coaches counted up where we gained, where we lost, and here's the play. Doesn't seem like a whole lot, does it? Called fair catch, called the ball, look at it. On their own 47, 48-yard line. That's where they started the drive, as opposed to get away from it, let it hit. Who knows how far that ball cartwheels, and they start deeper in their own territory, and maybe they don't get 3.
Cooper, a 4th-round pick out of South Carolina. He's only been active 3 games this year, and that's Gurley out of the backfield. Just reaching the ball out for a first down, and that he gets at the 30.
Is that his first catch of the game?
No.
Second? I mean, I don't feel like there have been many. little arrow route, just gets him out there. Nice catch. One of the underrated parts of his game coming out of college was his ability to catch the football. I feel like the Rams have tried to expand that more in recent games.
It is officially his first. He caught one that was brought back on a penalty earlier in the game. So that is his first official catch of the day. And now 4-minute offense here to try and put this thing away. Penalty flag down, and Gurley across midfield.
They may have wasted a terrific run by Todd Gurley.
Holding, offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
That would have been Gurley's longest run of the season.
So watch, Robinson 73, who's had penalty troubles in his career, and you see him get a hand right there on number 91, Sheldon Richardson. And you see that paw grab there, and that's where the flag came. Last year, Robinson had 16 penalties, came into this game with 10 in 2016. Still adjusting from that run-first offense at Auburn, but a different style of running game. They love his athleticism. He's got to curb those penalties.
Cunningham cuts it back the other way. He'll hang on to the football. Remember, he fumbled inside the 2-yard line very early in this one. And now a timeout will be called by the Jets, their first. Stopping the clock with 3:51 to go. Petty hoping to get the football back one more time.
Now, we've talked throughout that this isn't one that's going to go in the offensive Smithsonian of the NFL. We understand that.
That's a safe bet.
Okay. But turnovers, no one's turned it over so far. So right now, the Jets in this position, a turnover would be absolutely huge and key. Because, again, the Rams have talked all week long about we got to help our offense, we got to help our offense. They didn't get it done with takeaways, but their defense is still playing well. Well, the Jets have played well, but a takeaway here is paramount because the offense has struggled to move the ball in the second half.
For many of you, we'll hope to bring you bonus coverage of that game just down the road in Philadelphia. What a win that would be for the Eagles. Of course, locals, the Giants, will be playing here tomorrow night against the Cincinnati Bengals. And Dallas coming up later on Fox at Pittsburgh. That did not fool anybody on second down. Third down coming up, and it's an important as the Jets will spend another timeout. And we check in back in L.A. with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. You mentioned that Philly game. Here's your update. Ryan Matthews with this 5-yard touchdown run. That's his second of the day. They decide to go for 2. And again, Ryan Matthews gets the job done. The Eagles lead 21-15. And like you said, time permitting, we'll get you guys out to this game. Tom?
Philadelphia's had a couple of back-breaking defeats consecutively. That game against Dallas that went into overtime, where they blew the 10-point fourth-quarter lead that they lost here against the Giants a week ago. They've been very good at home. There's a lot to like about that Philadelphia team. They're not a perfect team.
No, but
they've got some nice parts.
They also had a great opportunity in Detroit to win a game earlier this year. That would have
we were there.
Would have made them 4-0.
Man who just scored that touchdown, Ryan Matthews, a key fumble in the fourth quarter.
I think Jeff Fisher wants to put this game on his defense again. He's just telling them, make sure there's no major mistakes deep in your own territory.
Need to get to the 40 for a first down. They nearly had a mishandled snap there.
Case Keenum did a fantastic job catching that snap.
We talked about what a weapon Johnny Hekker has been in his career over the last 5 years for the Rams. At 78-yarder. Time for the longest in the NFL this season.
Last year he led the NFL in gross punting, net punting, and the most punts inside the 20. Kind of the triple crown for punters. And he's having another season similar.
We're going to let this run all the way down and then spend a timeout. With 1 second left on the play clock, 3 minutes on the game clock. Jets are out of timeouts. Bryce Petty in his first NFL start will get that chance he was hoping for. One more possession.
And this is an example of his day, something I thought they would do maybe a little bit more of, a beautifully thrown ball, and an even better catch by Robbie Anderson. Nice strike there to Quincy Enunwa. And then how about the touchdown to hook and lateral with a great block by Enunwa on the corner. And then this was a great opportunity that was missed. He missed the wide open Robbie Anderson, probably got a little extra amped on it and overthrew him.
Jalen Marshall stands back at his own 25. And Hecker, high punt and a fair catch made at the 23-yard line. So here we go with 2:55 left for Bryce Petty. Of course, a mixed extra point right now is a big deal, and then if you could get into field goal range, you kick it successfully, you win it rather than tie it. But, you know, when things are going the way they're going for you, you'll take 3 any way you can get it, win or tie.
And this will be fun to watch, the chess match of what Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator, will do with Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator.
First down catch, a peak for a gain of 5.
And the reason I bring that up is the Rams aren't like many other defenses in the NFL in these situations. A lot more people will play off coverage, a little softer to make sure no one gets behind them. Greg Williams is not averse to bringing pressure in these situations too.
Just a 4-man rush this time. They dump it off to Powell out of the backfield. And he is wrestled down to the 38. That'll be a first down. The clock continues to run.
Plenty of time. This is the old John Wooden adage there if you're the Jets. Be quick, don't hurry. Plenty of time. Get up the line of scrimmage, make sure you're set, make sure you're in your best play.
Final play before the 2-minute warning. We think Powell is chopped down, and that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. Petty trying to lead his team on a game-tying, perhaps game-winning drive. Take a look around the National Football League. An NFL record through the front 9 weeks. 77 games decided by 8 points or fewer. We're headed in that direction here today. 2 minutes to go. Second down and 7. The Jets from their own 42-yard line. Across the middle, and it is intercepted by Alec Ogletree. First turnover for either team today.
Remember him dropping in a pass route recently and getting in there and knocking it away? Watch Ogletree. Hunts up the receiver, has the coverage, stays right there, and basically outfights him for the football. Ball's thrown inside, so it's a tough catch for Enunwa because he had to go back inside to get it. That was really much more in Ogletree's space than Enunwa's. And a great job by Ogletree, outfighting him for the ball, catching it, and giving the Rams the football. That's a terrific play. I'm telling you, Alec Ogletree moving inside the middle linebacker, something he wanted to do, wanted to be the guy with the responsibility, and he comes up with the game-winning play.
Nothing the Jets can do to stop it now.
And now if you're the Jets fans, who if you wanted Bryce Petty and the coaching staff wanted Ryan Fitzgerald, nothing got decided today. Okay, unless you say, well, if at 3-7 we go ahead and make the move. But Petty didn't exactly take it and secure it. So that's a tough one, you know, for the coaching staff to decide what to do, because Todd Bowles is not going to make any changes until I think this season is flat out decided.
And hey, look, on the flip side of all of this, how about Jeff Fisher? I mean, you know, Fisher has a contract through the end of this season, at least a signed deal. There are some that believe he has a contract on a wink-wink a little bit longer than that after going through another move, as he did from St. Louis to Los Angeles. You know, they had lost 4 in a row after starting the season at 3-1. This is his 22nd year as a head coach in the NFL. He has only taken 6 teams to the playoffs.
I think as they go forward, they're going to have to ask themselves, one, is Jared Goff ready to play? Our guys in the pregame show talked about it, and they were emphatic that they thought Goff should be playing. But even beyond that, It's what you keep putting on this defense. That's a hard way to go for this defense, where every week, every possession you play on D could decide the game for your team. And that's a tough way to win ball games throughout. But today, my hat is really off to that Rams team. Because my goodness, today, I'm talking about that Rams defense.
Absolutely.
They were sensational today.
And hey, 4-game losing streak is over. And Charles, we were talking in their division, even with a 4. You know, these Rams can walk away and make the long flight back home at 4 up and 5 down. That's one more win than the Arizona Cardinals have for second place. And 4 wins right now, you're in the hunt.
And don't forget,
wild card in the NFC.
And don't forget this about this Rams team. They've already beaten Seattle. They've already beaten Arizona. Seattle at home, Arizona they beat on the road. Within the NFC West division, this Rams team always plays tough. It's outside the division that they have their issues.
That's right.
So inside that division, if it's close, never bet against this Rams team when they play Seattle and Arizona, because they come ready for them.
You're still going to be asked about golf. You come away with 9 points in a win. So Jeff Fisher will be answering that before they go to Miami.
Bet on Keenum in Miami.
Let's send it to the gang back in Los Angeles.